Section 3.2 is synthetic division. It's going to take a few problems to understand the procedure and process going, but just bear with me. We start with the box, and in my first box, we always go to the divisor and we use the opposite of this, so it's going to be negative 3. Next, we take this, we have to put it in descending order according to the exponent. 4, 3, the x squared term is missing, then the x to the first, and a constant. So we're going to put those in order using the coefficients. So 2, 7, my x squared term is missing, so I have to put 0 as a placeholder, x, and then my constant. Now once we get them lined up, we're always going to drop the first. Now multiply. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. Add down. Now we start over. Multiply. Negative 3 times 1. Now add down. 0 minus 3. Start over. Multiply. Negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. Add down. Start over. Negative 3 times 10 is 30. Negative 30. Add down, and we get negative 42. This last column goes in a box. That's our remainder box. Now, if our degree of this polynomial is a fourth degree, our answer is going to start with a third degree. It's always going to be one less, so then we go in descending order until we have no more. So if this was an 8, I would have started with a 7 here, 6, 5, 4, and so on. So it's always one less. So this is going to be 2x cubed plus x squared minus 3x plus 10 with a remainder of negative 42. Or it can be written sometimes, if it doesn't ask specifically to list the remainder, then we will include it in the whole polynomial and say minus 42 over the original divisor, which is x plus 3. Okay? The next one we said always do opposite of over there, so it's positive 2, and then I'm going to go in order. 1x to the fourth, 0x to the third, 0x squared, 0x, and then my constants. I have to put zeros as my placeholders. Drop the first, multiply, 2 times 1 is 2, add down. Multiply, 2 times 2 is 4, add down. Start over, multiply, 2 times 4 is 8, add down. 2 times 8 is 16. Our remainder in this one is 0. My leading term is a fourth degree, so my answer is going to be a third degree. So it's going to be x cubed plus 2x squared plus 4x plus 8. Same thing now, it says use synthetic division to find p sub k. If they tell us our k is negative 3, okay, they tell me k is negative 3. And then I have x to the third, x squared, x, and my constant. Drop my first. Now I'm going to multiply. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. Add down. Multiply. Add down. Multiply. Negative 3 times negative 24. It's going to be negative 72. Positive 72. Which gives me 69. Remainder 69. Then that just simply means p of negative 3 is equal to 69. So we'll do the same thing with the next example, but I forgot to put the p of x in, so our p of x, I didn't include this, you're going to have to put this in on your notes, it's going to be x cubed plus 2x squared minus 13x plus 10. Okay, so it says ask us about when it's negative 3. I'm going to put these in descending order, so 1 x to the cube, x squared, x, constant. Now we're going to set up synthetic division, drop the first, multiply, negative 3 times 1 is negative 3, add down, multiply, negative 3 times a negative 1 is a positive 3, add down, start over, negative 3 times 10 is negative 10 is negative positive 30. My remainder is 40, so that tells me that p of negative 3 for this polynomial is equal to 40. Next, using the factor theorem, they want to know if x plus 5 is a factor. Since they gave it to me in x plus 5 form, that means I'm going to do the opposite of it and do minus 5. And then I have x cubed, x squared, x, and constant. So we're going to bring down the first, multiply, add down. Now multiply again, and you get 0, add down. Multiply negative 5 times negative 2 is a positive 10. And then we're going to add down, and we get negative 14. Since this remainder did not come out to be 0, it has stuff left over, that tells us that x plus 5 is not a factor of p of x. Okay, this has to be, the remainder has to come out to be 0. If it comes out to be 0, then we would say yes, it is a factor. When this does not come out to be 0, we say no, it is not. So next it says, use synthetic division to decide whether negative 2, this isn't a factor form, it's just negative 2 itself. So it asks us about negative 2, and so we do x cubed, x squared, x, and our constant, drop our first, multiply, add down, multiply, add down, multiply, add down. Okay, because this is not 0, then we say negative 2 is not a 0 of the function. So because that's not 0, we say negative 2 is not a 0 of p of x because the remainder is not 0. So if our remainder comes out to be 0, we say yes, this is a 0. If not, we say no, it is not.